Welcome back to Surviving and Thriving, where we share with you the things that we have learned as we have transitioned our family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it, in the hopes that something that we share with you will help you, enlighten you, and encourage you as you transition your family from struggling to survive disease to thriving right smack dab in the midst of it. There was a time, I told you that I've been going through health issues for a good number of years now, and there was a time when I have been suffering for a few years. I have been suffering day in and day out, all day, all night. I had some long hospitalizations, and there was a time when things looked like it was starting to get better, and then it went worse. And everything that I was doing, nothing was working, and I was in a really bad place. I had been bedridden for a couple of years. I couldn't stretch out my legs. I couldn't walk. I was trapped in my body. It was a real struggle to just move my body, and I felt like I was existing. I didn't feel like I was living. I felt like I was a burden and a weight to my family, that they were going through a lot of hardships they did not have to go through if it was not for me. And I grew tired. I grew tired physically. I grew tired mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And I just didn't think I had what it took to keep going. It became a real struggle every day for me to make it. And as that time wore on, I told you in other videos about how depression sets in and how it's a downward spiral, and it's a tormentous place. And it was a progression. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't just wake up and boom, you're through. It's a progression. That pathway is a progression. And as I progressed, what I had learned was that I couldn't, before I was just gung-ho. I can do this. I can handle this. My victory is going to come. And as I started going down inwardly, it was, if I could just make it to the weekend. If I could just make it to the weekend. If I could just make it to the weekend, because I'm going to church on Sunday. If I could just make it to the weekend. And as it continued to progress, it became, if I can just make it through the day. If I can just hold on just for today. And I had to take what I was going through one day at a time. And it progressed from one day at a time to, if I can just make it the next 4 hours. If I can just make it till lunch. And then it became, if I can just hold on for 1 hour. If I can just make it for 1 hour. And how I got to 1 hour was, I told my husband, I can't do this no more. I'm tired. I want to go. I want to leave. I'm suffering. I'm hurting. I'm ready to go. And my husband would sit his chair. He got a chair and he turned it right towards my bed, and he would sit right next by my side, right next to me. And he would hold my hand, and he would look at me with so much love and so much hurt. I could see he was hurting because I was hurting. And here I was caring about what my family was going through, but they didn't care. All they cared about was me. And my husband would hold my hand, and he would caress my face, and he would look at me with those loving eyes and the pain in his eyes from seeing me hurt and all the love in the world. And he would say, give me 1 more hour. Just hold on. Hold on for me 1 more hour. And because I love him. And when you got somebody who take care of you and they love you like that, and they could care less about all the hardships, all they care about is you want to do for them. You want to please them, and you'll give them anything you can because they're giving you everything they got. And so I would look at them and say, okay, 1 more hour. I'll hold on for 1 more hour. And when that hour was up, my husband would say, give me 1 more hour. You can do it. You made it past that last hour. You can give me this 1 more hour. And our days consisted of that, where he stood by my side and he didn't leave. He did not leave my side. My babies had to feed themselves. They had to change the other babies' diapers because my husband was not going to leave my side. He was giving me 1 more hour. And we went from 1 more hour to give me 15 minutes. Just hold on. 15 more minutes. And from there, we ended up going to the hospital for a few months, and we had a serious battle. Why am I sharing this with you? I'm sharing this with you because, as you know, in a previous video, we talked about taking life in bite sizes. as far as you can handle it. When I was at that place where it was just really hard for me and I was hitting that progression and it went from making it a week to a day to an hour, if I was trying to continue to take things, one day at a time or 1 week at a time, it would have overwhelmed me and I would not have been here. And so I had to take life little by little so that I can hold on, so that I can maintain, because I really didn't feel like I had the strength to say, let me take it a week. And if my husband wasn't there encouraging me to take it an hour or to take it in smaller increments than that, I probably would have given up. So I wanted to encourage you once again to take life in the steps that you can handle it, and caregivers to encourage your loved one to hang on in bite-sized pieces. The other thing that I wanted to tell you about that as well is that if you see your loved one going down that progression, get them as much help as possible. And sometimes that's when it's time to step in and force them to go to a hospital, even if they didn't want to, because I didn't want to go. And sometimes you got to force them to do some things that they don't want to do in order to save their life. Now, when we went to hospital, was it easy? No, sirree, Bob. It got really hard. I was there for a few months. The doctors overdosed me. They had to bring me back, and I went through some terrible things because of that overdosing. I lost my memory for a while. They gave me medications that I wasn't supposed to receive, and that caused some other issues, which did some things with my memory as well. I was blind. I was unconscious a lot during that stay and other stays. But I think during that stay, I have no memory for a few weeks. I had some things that were going on mentally. I had some things that were going on physically. I had surgeries. There was a lot of things that went on, and we had a real serious fight for my life, but I did make it through. So that leads me to this. No matter how hard it gets, no matter how hard it looks like the road is ahead of you, no matter how bad it looks, even when it looks like it's over, hang in there. Give it all that you got. Because as long as there's breath, as long as there's life, there is hope. And I've been in situations, you all, several times where it looked like there was absolutely no hope. And not only did it look like there was no hope, I don't want no hope. I was gone. I saw myself dead. There was times where I was gone. I was totally somewhere else, and my body was just laying there. But you know what? The good Lord saw fit to allow me to come back to my body, to allow me to come back to reality, and I'm still here today. And now I am 4 or 5 years on the other side, maybe 6 years on the other side of that one experience. So I want to encourage you that whether you're the caregiver or the person that's going through, no matter how bad it looks, no matter what they say to you, they could tell you you're gone and that's it and there's no hope and there's nothing else. No matter what, you keep fighting as much as you can. If all you can do is grab hold, whatever strength that you have to fight to stay here, because things can turn. Things can turn on a dime with no advance warning, with nothing. It can turn. It turned for me. I woke up and things turned like that, with no warning, no advance signals, nothing to tell you that it was going to change. So you fight and you stay in there and you fight for your loved ones and you hang in there and you encourage them to keep holding on. Sometimes fighting is holding on. Sometimes fighting is just standing still. Sometimes fighting is just not letting go. So give it all you got. Remember, in all things, do you, because your family dynamic is different than my family dynamic. Your situation is different than my situation. Your personality and your family personality is different than my family personality. So in all things, do you. Don't try to be me, and I won't try to be you. But we'll embrace who we are and accept who God created us to be and live the life of us to the fullest. Thank you for watching. Until next week. Bye.